Took some L's to the chin, but I ain't stopping till I win. Only fail if you don't try. Take that step, gotta begin. Always have your faith in God and knowing it's part of the plan. Had to have my own back when they ain't get no help in hand. But it is what it is. I know I gotta make it happen. Success a part of my habit.
Find him a job. Find him some business. Okay. All right. Who's going to do the do?
All right, we can do this. Welcome, guys. We're back with another episode. Before we start off, as always, I would like to implore you people to subscribe, like, comment, share, do all of that.
All the things.
That'll be great beneficial for this pod to continue to grow, because we're still touching all of the international continents, which is great, but we want to grow more in the home base. With that being said, we're going to move into today's segment, which is...
compromise versus settle.
Yeah, trying to figure out what's your take on it. First, we're gonna start with our take, and then we would like to open this up, and we want some more comments from y'all to know what you think about compromise versus settling. So, I mean, what do you think of the benefits of each? Because
okay, I think that there is a lot more. I feel like there used to be a lot more settling. In the past, in general, in life,
definitely.
But there's not so much right now going on of settling. So for me, my definition is a compromise is you are, you're sacrificing something, but you're coming to a middle ground.
Yes.
Either with yourself about something, or with somebody you are in an agreement or disagreement with, and settling is. You are just giving in to me, just completely giving in. Compromise, I feel like you're able to kind of still get some of the things that you are looking for,
right? But
settling, you just like you gave a fuck up.
and you're right, because think about back in the day, with just not anything, with just also past relationships, jobs, or whatever situation somebody was in back then, they like
settling.
They're like, oh no,
settling like a mofo.
Right. Like I remember hearing something. It was like a little phrase, like when somebody tell you to jump, you say how high. I used to be like, well, I remember I was a kid. I was like, hey, no, bro, I don't. Yeah. I've never been that way. I'm like, okay, cool. If that's what you had to live with, I'm gonna be in a world of trouble. And I'm glad things have changed now that we have more options. Like, how compromise. Well, I don't even say it's compromise. This is more so just a F you, I'm out. But no,
that is it's pretty much. Yeah. But okay, so, but you got to be careful with the F you, I'm out. Yeah. A little bit.
Yeah.
It goes back to leaping out there, jumping out there.
Yeah, because you don't want to burn too many bridges.
Exactly. Yeah. So I feel like a lot of people are shifting towards more of a compromise in their life. Yeah. Because they're tired of settling. Like you said, people have settled in relationships. They have settled in jobs. They have settled in whole ass lives. Yeah. Like, some people.
Go ahead and say it. What?
I low-key settled a little bit earlier in my life.
I mean, you know what? I'd say you probably settled, but you didn't know better. Would you say that you had the knowledge that you had now to say
it was more of like a fear.
Okay.
So maybe it was a combination of both, of like, I'm scared, but also no, because if you're scared, you know better.
Yeah, and this is what I'm saying. When I say you didn't know better, you didn't know the confidence that you had. True. And what you could accomplish. Right. You were just like, you just needed to have that experience and just stuff going in life. You'd be like, I'm gonna survive. This ain't gonna kill me. No, this is the worst. This can't be the worst.
I settled in my marriage.
Yeah.
I'm just being truthful.
Hey,
I mean, like, it was, I was a certain age. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I should get married. This is what I should do.
So was it like you kind of listened to some of those old stigmas where people were like, oh, this age got to be like,
this age you got to be married. This age you have to have kids. You have to have a house, whatever. And so I was over the hill. I was 32 when I got married.
Yeah.
So, that was... at that point that was old. It's not old
Yeah.
now.
Oh no, not at all. Shit, I didn't wait till I was 40 to have kids. So you know, I'm like, whatever. But the thing is, we know better, and for your sake, you gain experience off of it. You're like, all right, cool. I know you just wish you knew what you knew now back then, but I mean,
No, I knew. I knew.
Right.
My mama was. I'm not gonna put her out there.
Oh.
I'm not gonna tell her.
We'll talk. We'll do one of these.
There we go. But no, I settled in getting married.
Yeah.
And then I almost settled in terms of a career.
Yeah.
But I feel like nowadays, I don't know if it's just how society is built up. People just aren't doing that anymore.
Right.
So, like, were there things that have happened to you that you like, oh, I know I settled in this situation?
Oh, hell yeah. Definitely. Like you say, past relationships, even career-wise. I had opportunities to jump out there and do some different stuff, but when I started, again, I was in one of them situations. You got a good government job. Stay there. Stay there.
Get you that good pension.
They'll take care of you, you know. And by the time,
Sounded like.
you know what I'm saying? You know what it is. But by the time I'm in, I'm like 12, 13 years in. Now I see. I'm like, man, I should have tried this or went to another angle. Like, and I've had friends who, you know, they did bounce around and try different avenues. And I see the levels of success that they have. I mean, applauding them. Yeah. Never saying, damn, I should have, you know, looking back at it. But it's now also, I did build up, you know, experience, whatever, with the responsibility with what I've had as far as my job. But I do wish that I stepped out there, like how these young cats now, they're just
they're just going for it.
Yo, it's so many people out there who are entrepreneurs, and I'm just like really, really glad to see they're just not settling for just the whole tradition of going into a job, work for somebody else.
Like the normal situation, work for someone for however many years and then retire.
Yeah.
So can you think of a situation and when you settled and it worked out? If you can't, it's cool. I'm trying to like jog my memory about like, when did I settle for something and it didn't work out?
Right.
I mean, it did work out. Let's see.
Yeah, it's likely been a minute because
you know better.
Yeah, right. I know better, and that, like now I'm into compromise or like I say FU mode. Like I'm just doing things, you know, just trying to create other avenues and things for myself and the family, you know.
Okay, so what does compromise look like?
Compromise is always like, to me, I'm giving up a piece of something, but I have to be willing to accept it. So I've been like, all right, this isn't working, but it's not working to my favor how I like. Like right now, where I'm at professionally, 9 to 5, I hate my job. Pretty much my joke is always, I'm there for the health benefits for my kids. And I say, you know, I was like, this is for the kids and the family, keep the lights on.
Right.
So I hate that. So I'm compromising there. But I mean, I'm looking elsewhere.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, okay.
So what about you? What in areas are you feel like you compromising in?
My job. Like, I mean, I don't. Let me get my words together. I'm compromising in that I've stayed too long. I stayed longer than I wanted to. Yes. But the compromise is that I have learned a ton. So if I didn't stay as long as I did, I wouldn't be where I am in terms of my experience. Right. So that's the compromise.
Yeah, definitely. Got a huge network and, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, all right, if I left probably 2 years in, there's no way. Not no way, but I wouldn't be where I am right now. So just in experiences with people and just everything like that. Yeah. So yeah, it was an unconscious unconscious compromise.
Yeah, definitely, man. And it's like, I guess you can say, like, even in relationships, I guess
you compromise in marriage all the time.
You have to compromise because if you're gonna be married and make the marriage successful, you have to think as a unit. Communication has to come in the key, and compromise because you can't be the one always saying, "Oh, It has to be my way, this way, whatever, whatever. And, you know, like Marie said once before, somebody you knew takes score. And I'm like, no. I'm like, you can't keep score because this is the thing. When you get to that point, you think you're keeping score. You tallying all your wins. You never see from the opposite side the L's and things that you're actually doing wrong. And you're like, oh, okay. Until somebody brings it to your attention.
Right.
You know, and that's just can be detrimental to that whole relationship.
So, at what point, like, do you, because you can compromise too much then be like, just be bitter or be resentful.
Yeah, down the line, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you conscious of your compromises, like, in your marriage?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I'm definitely conscious of them. And honestly, I know what you're talking about being bitter about stuff because it has come to my attention where at one point early on, I was just trying to make her comfortable and happy because coming from me dating relationships, I was like, shit, whatever. I was out, you know, I wouldn't say I was out there, but I was out there.
Ain't no easy way to say that.
I was out there. So it was one of the ones where to give her assurance, I compromised on a lot. I cut a lot of stuff off, cut a lot of people out, and you know, and yet and still, I didn't have to go that route. I could have just brought her along, like, okay, this is what it is, and if you can stay or you can leave, because this is what I'm gonna do.
No, I'm not saying that particular situation, but sometimes, like, you know, either you compromise and you change certain things, or you just like, yo, this the ride. Either you coming or you not.
Yeah.
So
it was one where just I could have brought her along and like, look, you should understand know my history since we went to school together. You know, I'm working towards me. You know, I'm working on me. It ain't gonna be immediate.
Right.
You know, but I tried to make the immediate effort, and that became much more difficult to actually work with
than a gradual.
Yeah. And as I got older, I was like, okay, now I'm getting better at this, and it's gradual. So now the stuff compromising on, I'm like, all right, it's easier.
Why do you think like nowadays people just are at the point where they aren't settling? Because it's very rampant, and not in a bad way, but people are not settling in anything.
Man, it's just, I mean, look at how society's been playing out and the world's just shaping up, man. A lot of stuff is just, you see things instant gratification. So that's one thing. People don't want to settle because they're like, wait, I can have this right now.
Right.
Or, you know, some aspect of this right now. Why do I have to, you know,
why do I have to settle?
Settle for this.
But, I mean, I get it. But there's some drawbacks in not settling because, all right, I'm 43.
Yeah.
There are people who are younger than me who I appreciate their ambition in not settling, but you gotta like put in a little work. You gotta put in some time. Yeah. And sometimes people are very quick to not settle, and it's not necessarily, they need to go about it a different way.
Yeah.
You know, I've worked with people who they are there a year or two, like, I want to be the manager. I'm like, hold on, what you mean?
You
don't even, you know, you haven't even been here long enough to learn the basics, and you want to run something. Like, I appreciate your ambition, however, like,
you're not ready when the lights come on.
Exactly. So, I'm just trying to figure out why people aren't settling for anything. Like, people are not, there are so many single people.
Very
because they have decided, I am not settling. They've decided, I'm not about to be in this toxic relationship. I'm not going to be in something unhappy. I'm not going to be with someone just for the sake of being with somebody.
But the reality of it, with all of them doing that, they're creating a toxic environment.
How so? What you mean?
Think about it. Look. If nobody's willing to settle, like that, nobody's settling. Okay. Nobody's taking any shit. Nobody knows how to communicate with one another. Nobody knows how to work amongst one another. Nobody's gonna have a relationship. All it's gonna be is a Tinder swipe and bang night. That's about it.
So we have to find, it's a fine line. You have to figure it out.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta find that fine line. Where's that middle ground? But it's becoming that gray area is so slim now. That's the thing I'm saying. It's becoming such a toxic environment. Like how dating has become so hard to date.
But I mean, there's pluses and there's minuses.
True.
I feel like there's more positives than negatives in terms of not sleeping. Like, no, I don't agree. That's how you looking right now.
No, I'm just waiting. I want to hear what you got to say. I mean, if you just want some weekend kill boss or something, yeah.
No, I just mean people were in things that they should not have been in, or stayed in things that they shouldn't have been in, and they're like, no. We're not talking about people who just aren't settling because they won't be out in these streets.
Okay.
They want to be outside.
Yeah.
We're not talking about
those
people.
I'm with you.
So I'm just saying people have realized I don't have to stay in this. Mm-hmm. Like, I'd rather be alone. Just think about people who have been together for years and then just all of a sudden like, yo, I'm not with this. Like Tia and her husband. Jesus Christ. Tia and Tamara.
Yeah. Okay. You.
Not my sister, Tia.
Right.
Oh, you went now?
Yeah, that's why I was like blinking.
Like, wait,
I was blinking. I was blinking
No.
I was trying to give you that. No, nigga,
I don't know.
No.
Don't say that. No. Not my sister. A disclaimer. The other Tia and Tamara, the twins.
You had me like
you was stuck for a minute.
I was like, oh God, this
like,
about
you putting
to be
all
bad.
her business out here. No. So, like, they have been together for a long time.
Yeah.
And I feel like because of where we are in society, I don't know, good or bad, she decided, yo, this ain't it no more. I don't care how long we've been together.
Wow. You know, and it's funny thing you said that. It's a lot of people who've been in like double digit
marriages, relationships.
And it's like, it's a wrap. Mm-hmm. I mean, just had kids, just start, man. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I mean, and that I have no words for it. I mean,
but I think it's a people are feeling more independent.
Which is, you know what? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you find out.
No, I mean that's such a good thing because people starting to understand themselves more and understand that I can make it.
Mm-hmm. I don't need a partner. Like, yes, it's nice to have a partner, but I don't need a partner.
Yeah, like this isn't gonna kill me. You know what I'm saying? It's not the old school standards of, oh, you gotta stick, but you know, like we talked before, kind of a few other conversations. We were talking about older generations. We sitting there, you hear something slip out, and you like,
wait, I got a brother.
Fam,
I got a whole nother
fam.
Because my parents' generation and generations before that, it was just like, oh, you know what's going on, but we just gonna pretend like it's not going on.
Duh.
And we're just gonna stay here.
Duh. Or you be at a fucking funeral and you like, who is this motherfucker?
You learn new family members.
I done had plenty of them joints where I'm like, who is this dude? He kind of look like dude. What's this? Really?
How are they related? Oh.
Okay. And just keep rolling.
Yeah.
But, you know, they swept that shit under the rug.
Under the rug.
Crazy.
Under the rug. But like nowadays we're not about that life.
Yeah, man.
And I think it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because like you said, people are becoming more aware of themselves. Mm-hmm. They're getting more confidence in themselves.
Yes.
Which is a good thing. People also aren't settling in their jobs.
No, not at all.
So many people, I definitely during COVID would just found other things to do and was like, I'm out. Yeah,
I mean, COVID just opened up a whole new world of possibility. Mm-hmm. It made you think so differently. It was like anything you thought you depended on or was so needed in life, you were like...
You're like, it goes away or it's dampened and you just like, yo, I really didn't need that.
Yeah, like people, like you said, switching jobs. They saw that I can do a job efficiently from home. Why am I driving into an office...
An
hour away every day? Can't really get no work done because when you're in the office, it's always... We meeting. Somebody always stopping by. I mean, it's cool to have the camaraderie and socialization, but at times when you're trying to work, when somebody wants to come and just come by and chat.
Yeah.
Like, I've had times like this past week, I'm sitting there trying to do some work. One person come by and talk about it, and somebody from the other side hears that conversation.
Have you been feeding your skin quality ingredients? Are you dealing with any type of skin condition such as eczema, hyperpigmentation, body acne, or discoloration? Here at Joy House Essentials, our triple whip shea butter is 100% handmade and whipped to perfection, guaranteeing results you will see and feel instantly. Give your skin the nourishment it deserves and stop using harmful, chemical-based products today. You can find us at www.thejoyhouseshop.net or give us a follow on Instagram at JHEShop. Joy House Essentials. Let's elevate together.
So, your employee, you said you like be at work.
Oh yeah.
Having a conversation, the camaraderie.
Yeah, that was cool. But then, like I say, it's also you're always interrupted. You know, somebody, hey, come check this out. Like I got one home girl. She'd be like, hey, come check this out, and I'll be like,
you already know what it's gonna be.
It's gonna be about 30-40 minutes of
funny.
some bullshit, and I'll be like,
I could have been doing something.
Yeah.
Or not doing anything.
or not
just
doing
sitting
anything,
here
just
at
in my
desk.
own space. You know, I like being in my bubble. But yeah.
But so COVID created this space for people not settling.
Yes,
They
yes,
found
yes,
out
yes.
what they could and couldn't live with and without. And then also like I don't want to say social media, but I mean, you know, it's made things a lot easier for people to get to places that they didn't have that reach before.
Yes.
Like us.
Yes.
You never would have seen us without social media. Everyone has a podcast, but
Yeah, you know.
I mean, but still, you know, it creates opportunities that weren't necessarily there before. So people, you know, don't have to you wrote books. You know, like
right.
things are
Yeah.
more. There are people who are rappers and singers who shouldn't be. Because
what T is saying is you should have cultivated another skill set.
another skill set.
That would've
You
been
should have had another
beneficial.
skill set. Because this one, it ain't it. It ain't it.
They still they figuring themselves out.
But I mean, like I appreciate the level of not settling,
Right.
because it creates a lot of opportunities that you might not have, that you might have passed on before.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, definitely. You learn, you're willing to try more.
right?
Because it was like one thing, like I say, COVID did do is just made people say, okay, since I'm here at this point, I might as well give this a shot. You know what I mean? You started seeing people doing that pre-COVID, just doing things, but then it was just an explosion,
Yeah.
you know, where now, like I say, and that confidence boost and that rate just went up. I mean, but so what other thing you think you started to do with COVID that you saw yourself change pre to post-COVID?
Change?
Like,
what?
yeah, or just you saw yourself just start doing anything differently, or just putting yourself in different spaces, or just applying yourself more?
So I used to be a serial dater. Not a serial dater, but relationships.
Okay.
Like I would go from relationship to relationship. And then I wouldn't say necessarily COVID had an effect on it, but I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm good being by myself, because
okay.
I wasn't miserable
Right.
in the situation I was in. And I'm not talking about my marriage at this point. I've had a lot of fucked up relationships.
Okay.
Not a lot, enough. But it was just a situation that created a lot of anxiety. And so it was so crazy when that relationship ended, how that anxiety just like went away.
Really?
Yes. And then it was just like, okay, so I'm working on myself. And then I got to the point where it was, okay, I don't have to be in a relationship period. Like I can date, but I don't have to, I'm okay. Like if this isn't working, like, yo, I'm not about to stay here anymore.
Was it was it like fulfilling or something to be, at one point, to be in a relationship? Did you feel it?
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, I have dated some people that I probably shouldn't have dated. Not like that, but just, you know, I'll say this. Sometimes you get in relationships or you get in situations because you think that there isn't something better. Right? It has happened to, I think, all of us in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
So I was settling for certain things in people because I was like, oh, what I really want doesn't exist.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
No. Totally understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
You know, because you just and when I had a point where I was, I don't know how to explain, like when I'm digging somebody or just in my life in general, when I feel something, I know like this is some real shit. Like this is my passion to do.
Right.
This is something I love. This is someone I love. So when you've been in a place of I'm settling, I'm just going to roll with the punches, and then you run into something that you love.
That real shit.
Like the podcast, the one I was doing before, like it brought me so much happiness and joy, and then doing this one, and then you just like, yo, it reminds you I don't have to settle.
Yeah.
Or you'll run into someone, like I run into just dudes who it's just from like, oh, okay, we'll do this.
Right.
And then you run into somebody, you're like, oh my gosh. And you just like, okay, I can still find somebody out there that is going to give me that feeling. I can still find a hobby that's going to fulfill me, or I can find a job or whatever that's going to fulfill me. So hopefully everybody at some point you realize you don't have to settle, because what you want is out there.
Definitely.
You might have to compromise a little bit. Like, let's say you find your dream job. It might not be necessarily in the city that you want. Yeah. But
so that's
you hit me with the arm back.
So no, that's something I'm thinking about right now. I mean to steal your thunder in the middle of the
convo. No, I'm done. Storm is over.
So we're looking to relocate, and I'm having the hardest time in the location we want to find a position. Like even finding something remote. It's interesting because they'll say remote,
but then they want you to be stationed somewhere.
Yes, it'll be like remote Georgia, remote Cali, remote Texas. I'm like, that's
so you want me in the state, but
I'm still remote. So it's like, okay, cool. You technically want a hybrid because you want me to come on site or something. At that point, I mean, it's rare you find that's just totally remote in my professional career field.
So you are, looking to relocate. So you might have to compromise something to get your, because you want to work remotely.
Yes, definitely. I want to be totally remote because it's just like at this point with 2 young kids, I need to be accessible. I need to be able to get back and forth to home because right now I'm an hour plus away. Something happened to the kid.
And that's not even with traffic, right?
That is with traffic. With traffic's an hour and a half. Okay. Without traffic, it's like 50.
That's still too far.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like I've had times where one of the kids has gotten sick, and I got note of it, so I had to drive an hour back. So by the time I got notification, that was already 30, 40 minutes in, and I'm like, damn. Yeah. And all I can think about is getting to my kid. But looking at it now from where we're trying to go, we might have to compromise. Like, hey, this
and it might not be like, the thing with compromises, I feel like, is they're not long term. Right. It might be a short term compromise, and that's something that you can, if you go into it knowing, okay, we might have to do this for 6 months or a year. All right, I can do that. I can compromise that part.
Correct. So and that's the thing. We gotta just sit and have that conversation because it's like I'm not finding anything for me in that area. Right. And the times when I did interview for jobs there, they're like, "You're great, but we want you more so if you haven't worked banking or finance, because right now the area we want to go to is more of a banking and financial district. It hasn't grown
into like the tech and the stuff that you
it's construction because they're still building. So I'm like, okay, I got it. If I want to do that, I will have to go 3-4 miles east of that. I mean, 3-4 hours east. And I'm like, I'll be right back in the position where I am now, where I really don't have anybody there, that I know, and I want to be around some family. Right. So I'm like, we might have to go ahead and take the other trip down a little bit further south.
Yeah, where, just see, because it might turn out to be exactly what you wanted. Exactly. But, you're compromising. Yeah. So I have learned there are certain things I want in a partner.
Yeah.
But there are certain things I'm willing not to compromise on.
Right.
So, like, before, no kids. No, I didn't want anyone who had children.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I didn't want anyone who had children. There were some other things like making, not a certain dollar amount, but, you know, doing well financially and a couple of other things. But now I'm like, you know what? I can compromise on some things. I'm 43. What are the chances I'm going to run into a unicorn who doesn't have any children?
Yo.
Like, how sway?
Yo, I told you, me and the guys got a joke about anybody in their 40s without kids or anything.
It was a joke. Am I part of the joke?
Motherfucker crazy.
I'm crazy. I'm just a little crazy.
No, but...
No. There's something wrong.
Yeah, it's something. We always be like, it's something.
Something's there.
Like, if that person has never been married before. You know,
if someone's like never been married or like in a long-term relationship, you like, yo, what's the problem? Something's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like there are things that I'm willing to compromise on before that I wouldn't. So like, all right, I compromise with the kids. That's fine.
How many kids is too many?
The question is how many baby mamas? I only accept one baby mama. I'm only accepting one baby mama or one ex-wife. Like, other than that, I can't. The math ain't math. Like, I can't do it.
I got you.
And then I think I'm more open to, maybe somebody who isn't what I thought was financially, I don't know the word, but like being in a really good financial spot. Yeah. But if you're working on it, you can't be a bum.
Yeah, you're consistent.
Yeah,
you're consistently employed.
Yeah, exactly. So like I'm compromising the intangible things over the tangible things.
Gotcha.
Because at the end of the day, you want someone who you can have a good time with. You want someone who, is affectionate, X, Y, and Z. Yeah. That money ain't gonna keep me.
Right.
Exactly. Because how many people, men or women, have compromised in situations where the financial gain was really good, but he ain't never home.
Well, I see aside from that. Yeah.
Or he has women.
So, funny story. I occasionally get people send us stuff about just some IG stuff, stories, and just listen to people. And one of my guys sent me something where this young chick said, it was these two guys. Actually, it was two guys on a podcast, and they were reviewing what people were saying about what they just like you said, the criteria for a mate. And they pause. They would look at somebody and say, "How much you think they say she wants her man to make?" And and then it was like
that's interesting.
And then when people were like, "Oh, I want him to make around 100, 200," they're like, "Oh, okay, cool." And they saw this one chick, and they looked at each other, started smiling, and they're like, "What you think she's gonna say?" And then the guy says, "At least 275," and the other one was like, 3. This girl said 650K. So the thing was, and they just started falling out their chair laughing, and I was sitting there like you said, somebody who makes $650,000 a year, their time is limited.
Their time is
limited. They're working. And then also from that, do you even know how to manage that as a mate? Have you ever had somebody?
That's very true. This is a whole different discussion because you want this person, man or woman, you want someone who's successful, right? Can you manage that lifestyle?
Correct.
Can you deal with that lifestyle?
Correct.
Because yes, the money comes, but what part do you realize what you are sacrificing for this money to be here?
Yes. You have to contribute in some way or fashion. You have to have an understanding of what it took to get to this point, what the demand is for him, and also like how quickly he has to move and think. How much time does he have for you? It's not those, it's all on lavish trips, we kicking it, because that's what
IG will show you.
That's what that knucklehead was thinking. Oh, I'm partying, I got all the bags, I'm laced up. No, you're gonna be somewhere buckled down. He's gonna be in meetings. He's gonna be shuffling.
And you're gonna be by yourself.
Yes.
You are going to be all the way by yourself. So, if you want that man or that woman who makes that money, realize that you're going to have to compromise, and your compromise is going to be their time.
Because they have to sustain that lifestyle, and to sustain that, they have to put in so much.
Nobody
effort.
is making that kind of money and
Doing nothing.
No, not at all.
No.
Because you're running something,
yes.
and you have to have people. You have to be doing it,
yes.
and so you can't just, you ain't got just, I say you have the time to do what you want, but you also are trying to continue to keep that stream of money coming in. Definitely. So,
lesson for you kids. HBO Succession. Watch it. You'll get a better understanding of money. Or Billions. Don't say
or
that.
you will have, I wasn't going to say nothing foul.
I know how you get a thing about Billions. So.
We don't have to put that on this. That's conversation that we have. Oh, you're gonna make me say the N-word again, and I don't want to say it. Or Succession will teach you how your father is toxic, and he will just mess you up for your whole life. And there's that. So even from the grave, he will mess you up.
That part.
But yeah, I think people need to be a little softer on the compromising. Yeah. Because you're not going to get everything your way. No. All the time. No. In anything, a job, a relationship. Yeah. If you want to start a business, like you're going to have to compromise something. Yeah. You want to be an entrepreneur, you might have to compromise your health insurance. I mean, if you're by yourself, you might have to compromise your health insurance if you're not with someone who can cover you. Correct. Because, all right, you want to go out there and you want to start this business. So compromising is a hard lesson. And I think sometimes people think that compromising is giving in, and it's not. It's not. No. It's making an adult decision to sacrifice something to get that other thing. Yep. So you just gotta, figure it out. So I ain't got nothing else. I have nothing.
No, look. So hopefully we covered enough so you guys got a better understanding or a place where you can start when you talk about compromising and settling in your relationships, professional career, whatever your endeavors may be. Hopefully we gave you a couple pointers,
Hopefully. And compromise on some therapy. No, this is Megan's mental health month.
Nah, you're right.
So people need to if you're struggling in something, you need to compromise and find you a therapist or start something.
The talks. Do the research. Something.
Guess what? It's okay for Black people to talk to people now.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at me like that? It is okay. He doesn't think. I don't know what he thinks, but I think it's quite all right for Black people to have therapy. It's not taboo anymore. So.
No, it's not. Okay. But ladies and gentlemen, we seriously thank you. And again, like, subscribe, share, comment, all of the above. Mm-hmm.
Send this to your friends.
Pick up both of my books. I need you to get 300 copies of B. I need you to get 400 copies of Why Not. I need you to have 40 people out of each of your groups subscribe to the Talking in the Attic pod.
I'm going to be nice. Can you have 5? He's asking for a lot. I'm going to say 5.
Go big.
Send 5 friends.
I go
our
big.
Link. And we'll be happy.
I go big.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Took some L's to the chin, but I ain't stopping till I win. Only fail if you don't try. Take that step, gotta begin. Always have your faith in God and knowing it's part of the plan. Had to have my own back when they ain't get no